No.
Something that I do, but I know that I'll just speak on kind of a side instance. We had kind of a leadership meeting today and talked about some guys who are leaders on this team that outside of your position group that you respect a lot, and the first name that immediately came to my mind was Brent Willis. I think that, I haven't gotten to watch the YouTube copy yet of the offense and stuff like that, but I think that whatever you guys saw is exactly what I'm expecting, He's just such a selfless guy. He always knows, he's a vocal guy. He knows exactly what to say. He leads by example, and everything that's coming for him, he's worked for. He's earned it.
You mentioned leadership council. Just can you take us through the topics, something like that? How do you guys kind of come together as one during a tough time like this?
Well, we come together every week. It's something that we want to stay sharp on, keep our leadership team together, and just address different sort of problems and stuff like that. And right now more important than ever, sort of. So.
What were some of the things that were discussed? I've always been curious about like a quote-unquote players-only meeting.
Well, it's not really players only, but just a lot of things, specifically, how we want to handle the locker room, especially, being in uncharted waters of, 3-3. Here in the last few years, we hadn't really had a start like this, and so just kind of the leaders wanting to band together and make sure that we're as strong now as when we started, if not stronger.
I asked Drake if it's difficult at this stage to do that, to be a forceful leader, and he said, no, this is when it happens. Yeah. When people are counting you out and everybody's against you and you're 3-3 and they think you suck. From your perspective, is that something that is easy to do, lead and be forceful like that when the chips are down?
I think he really did hit it on the nose. It sounds a little cliche, but he hit it on the nose. It's one of those things. You kind of always prepare to be the best sort of leader, or whatever the case may be, for the worst situations. And this is one of those situations where we're down in the mud, and the leaders got to really step up.
Is this it's easy when you're winning? It gets harder when you're losing.
It's one of those, it kind of feels like maybe while you're winning, I wouldn't say necessarily get swept under the rug, but you don't maybe need so much of it in a such an urgent sort of manner. But right now, like I said, more than ever, we need our leaders to step up.
You guys won a lot of close games last year. Did I guess some of that get masked by winning, like you're saying, kind of papered over the problems, or some of the problems, because at the end of the day it was a win-loss situation? You guys won.
However you want to look at it, you can look at it that way. I'm really just focused on this year.
Yeah.
And,
you talked about being leaders in the locker room, talking with other guys. Is it pretty much as easy as just like the fans sometimes, where you worry about maybe younger guys or other guys saying, we've been practicing this stuff for a long time, why aren't we executing better? Like doubts and things, is that kind of something you always keep your eye on?
I think that's something that every locker room kind of has to deal with. But I think that honestly, in my 5 years being here, this is the least I've ever dealt with it. Maybe it's because I'm older. I don't know. Guys might not be comfortable telling me stuff anymore. But I really don't get that. I don't get that feeling at all. So.
You talk about like just people second guessing what's going on.
Yeah, I think that, like I said, this is the worst position I've been in since I've been here. Just as far as getting off to a good start or whatever. But like I said, just the buy-in from this group, like there's been we've continued to sort of get better as the weeks have went on. Like last week, just speaking of like time, put in things and just extra film and extra this and that. There was a lot of it last week, and it's one of those things where this week we're not going to take a step back just because we didn't get the result we wanted yet. So
can it come to a point though where some of that's too much, whether it's almost trying too hard to put in more time to fix things?
In my case, I would say no. I think it's one of those things. It's really all I know is throw work at it. There's obviously the work smarter, not harder sort of deal. But I would say that's really what we're doing, because we could be up here doing. We could not leave this place all day. But yeah, we get in a lot.
Is one of the issues though? Is pressing been an issue?
What do you mean?
Well, just like again, trying to do too much. Whether it's not necessarily just up here, but on Saturdays.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. And any sort of extra film or anything like that, we kind of organize ourselves. And so, no, I wouldn't say that's true.
Why do you think it's been kind of the tale of two seasons for you guys already in 6 games, playing great at some points and not so great in others? Why that inconsistency, do you feel like?
I couldn't tell you, to be quite honest with you. I just know that at the end of the day, we got back in here today, we're going to take it right back to work and we're going to figure it out. And it's one of those things where Coach Venables kind of presented an illustration to us of the guy kind of digging through with that, trying to get to the diamond, and he gets to a certain point and he kind of just gives up. And little does he know that, he hit the thing 1 or 2 more times, you're going to strike the diamond. So it's one of those things, we're going to keep doing work at it. And, it's cliche, but that's literally what we're doing. So.
Is that kind of what keeps everybody going forward, is just finding that spark that kind of changes things, turns things around?
Yeah, you can say that.
How do you keep that drive to get there after what's happened the last 3 weeks?
Regardless of wins and losses, like I love this game, and I know a lot of these guys love this game. We love to play the game. We love to play the game together. And so, if you don't have drive to do something that you can only do, 12 Saturdays in a year, then something that you prepare a year for, and you only get 12 opportunities, then that's a problem that I can't, agree with you on.
DaShaun, when you're reviewing the film after a game, last couple of weeks in particular, is it 1 or 2 big things that stand out that you guys can fix moving forward into Kansas, or is it 12, 15 things and it's little things that you guys have to individually fix?
It's 12, 15 little things that offenses are capitalizing on, and in a lot of instances where it could be it's a lot of little minute details that offenses are capitalizing on what seems like every single play. And we look back and it's one of those like facepalm sort of moments, because it's such an easy thing. We gotta do a much better job of executing.
This is the second install you've been through at OU. Are you surprised it's taken this long after going through an install in 2019 on defense?
Not necessarily. This one is a little more complex. So we know there'll be a few little growing pains, but I'm faithful in our group to be able to get it figured out.
I mean, obviously after the first 3 games, I know you didn't expect this 3 weeks later, but did you have any sense then that there could be some rocky times coming for this defense?
Maybe not this rocky, like you said, but every season comes with, every team's gonna handle adversity of its own, and like I said, maybe not. I probably didn't guess it to this level, but yeah, I kind of felt like something would come. There would be a moment, even if we were undefeated right now, there would still be moments where we would be tested and we would kind of have to overcome. So
I'm curious, Billy went down, and I know that was tough on your secondary, but Woody coming in and switching to safety, how much can that really help, through this time until you can get Billy back?
Woody's done a great job, and he's one of those guys. He's accountable. You can trust him. Like anywhere, he knows the defense very, very well, and he's going to continue to get better at that spot as he sort of grows. So, we need somebody to hold it down while 5 is out. He's doing a great job.
A lot of outside noise, and I know you do your best to kind of tune it out, but still, can it also kind of inspire you a little bit too, trying to prove some doubters wrong?
I'm probably one of those people that it kind of inspires a little bit. I try to stay out of it, but I know my mom is probably the worst about like sending me stuff and all this stuff like that. But no, it's just one of those things, like it's an extra chip on my shoulder. One of those things where you can keep kind of hitting me in the mouth, hitting me in the face, hitting us in the face, but once we stand up, I really feel like we're gonna set the record straight on things.
What's it like during a tough time to have a mom in your corner like that?
It's good and bad. No, it's the best. Honestly, she just cares so much, and
You're always pretty straightforward when you talk to us. You're not really sugarcoating things. Is that like the outside noise, social media? Is that kind of something that you've learned to deal with as a player?
No, it comes with territory. We play at arguably one of the best football programs of all time. And there's a standard that comes with that, and so if you're not feeding up to the standard, like, that's what you signed up for, I would say, especially after 5 years, I'm probably more used to it than a lot of younger guys, but
How do you prepare younger guys for that?
I think the best way to prepare them is just lead by example sort of deal. I think a lot of our older guys are good at not really talking much about what's going on outside of these walls or what people are saying and that sort of deal. And I think that just the way we come in here, and I mean the last few weeks have been rough, but just our response and coming in here and throwing work at it, I think that's going to send the right message to the other guys. So.
Early thoughts on Kip Lewis?
Really happy for Kip. I really was. He got in there. He got in the backfield. He's playing fast. He didn't get a lot of snaps, but he made most of them. And it's one of those deals like a few weeks ago, I didn't know if I would be able to tell you that he would get in there and be just playing that fast, looking that good. So when we called him up, you could kind of see he was more ready than any of us kind of thought. So I'm really proud of Kip. He's gonna have a great career here.
Where's he on Shane Witter?
Made the most improvements on?
Kip?
Yeah.
I would say just knowing where he's supposed to be at. Like when I'm telling you a few weeks ago, I wouldn't have been able to tell you that he'd be, this confident and just doing his job and stuff like that. And so, no, I'm super proud of him, and he's kind of really becoming like a young guy that we could really trust. If you got to get out there, you got to get out there. And so I feel like we trust him.
On the flip side, bad news for Shane.
Yeah.
Just your thoughts on what a bad break he got.
It sucks. It really does. But one thing I know about Shane is that he works hard. He's a fighter, and just even seeing the way he kind of responded today, I think response is always going to be the most important thing. But just to see him out there, dialed in, engaged. Like he's asking me what the call is. Sometimes I give it to him, and it's one of those things like he kind of just got told that he's not going to play football for probably until next year, and so just him having the maturity to be able to lock it in and dial it in and just take a big picture sort of approach at things, I think that is going to pay off for him in the end. And he's going. I'm rooting for all my guys, but I think he'll have a great career here too.
Thanks, DaShaun.
Hey, thanks for your time, DaShaun.
Yep.
Always
DaShaun,
appreciate it,
man.
Thanks, man.